Morning guys, my name's Scott and Miss Brian has just asked me to give you a little tour of our off-grid eco campsite here on the Isle of Skye. I've known Miss Brian for 33 years, which you'd never guess by looking at us and looking at Miss Brian, of course. But anyway, here you go. So luckily you're not going to see my face the whole time because I'm going to switch the camera around. But I'll give you an introduction of what we do and how we do things and why we do things, and then feel free to either ask Miss Brian for any questions you want to sort of pass on, or yeah, just kind of look us up online and you'll see us there and hopefully get a bit of an idea what we're around. So I'll try to keep this brief without waffling too much, but anyway, welcome to Skye Cabels. So we have been open now for, hopefully you can hear me under the crunching of the pebbles here. We've been open now for 11 years here in the Isle of Skye. Isle of Skye, for those that don't know, I know you guys are in Koh Samui, so quite a long way off here, but the Isle of Skye is a small island off the west coast of Scotland. I think smaller than Koh Samui, certainly a lot colder and not as much sunshine, so but maybe as much rain. So we, a typical day today, it's about 10 degrees today. I think you guys are at 36. So obviously a massive temperature difference. So solar doesn't work for us too much. It's enough to kind of charge little lights. I don't know if you can see the wee light up there, and fairy lights, but anything over and above that, not really. So we've had to kind of think about how we do that and how we kind of market ourselves. So we very much market ourselves as an off-grid experience. So for people to kind of just see what it's like to be off-grid, what it's like to be offline. That's a major panic for some people. Everything is very simple, back to basics. We have a couple of camp kitchens. Everything that you see here, or pretty much everything, is recycled. So these are recycled pallets. They've been scorched, scaffolding boards. Everything's been made by my own fair hands, or recycled old furniture. Again, old furniture that's kind of probably 100 years old or so. Gas stoves, they're not particularly eco, so that's us bad on that one. But trying to find a kind of a suitable method to cook is a kind of challenging one. You can cook on fire, but most people aren't so good with fire. So what we do offer and what we don't offer. So we're off grid, which means we have no electricity. So we're not attached to the mains. We do have mains water, but not mains electricity. We don't have Wi-Fi, not very much signal, so it's pretty limited. So when people come here, they're literally kind of escaping from kind of the social media, from the mobile phones, not having those constant pings, not looking at kind of their social networks, not kind of Instagramming or TikToking or whatever. Or if they do, then obviously they can upload that stuff later. We provide these. So it's basically an off-grid power pack. So if people need to charge their phones, charge tablets, cameras, drones, etc., then they can do that. And we also provide these little lights. So everything is off-grid, as I said. So we have candle lanterns, old kind of fashioned, gives a really nice glow. Guitar there for people being a bit social. Wood burning stove. And you can see these kind of little lights dotted around. We charge those at home, at our own home. We are on the grid at home, but in Scotland, 100% of the energy produced in Scotland comes from renewables, such as wind turbines or from hydroelectric, from water. So no Wi-Fi. So that's how we kind of offset sort of everything here. So we part of what we do is because we want to do it, because that's what we believe in kind of as being as low impact as possible. But part of it also is about kind of educating other people. So without ramming that down people's throats, we provide lots of information about why we do things. So our sustainability in business, why we do it, reasons, how, etc. And actually how we do it actually in practice. So that comes from absolutely everything we do. That's kind of purchasing things, so kind of that's miles that things travel to us, that's biodegradable products, such as cleaning products, shampoos, conditioners, body wash, all that kind of stuff which we provide is all ethically sourced and environmentally friendly, so it doesn't damage our little ecosystem here on Skye, but further doesn't damage the rest of the world. So we have composting toilets, which aren't to everyone's kind of taste, and some people find that a challenge. Most people stay with us for 2 or 3 nights, but so kind of imagine a compost toilet shouldn't be a hardship. But basically, it's a toilet. It doesn't use water, so it's a dry composting system. So that saves us roughly in the peak of our summer season, probably about 300 litres of fresh drinking water a day gets saved just on that alone. Now you'd think the Isle of Skye, which is a very wet place on the west coast of Scotland, would have lots of rain, which we do, but every year there's a water shortage because we don't have reservoirs. So we've got big mountains, lots of waterfalls, and that all flows off into the sea, which is great for making hydroelectric power, but not great for storing water for people to drink and to use. So we kind of contribute to that. So again, we give the reasons why we do those things and how. So again, it's not kind of pushing it down people's throats, but if they want to learn about it, they can do. And if not, that's fine too. So this is an example of one of the lights that is a solar light that works. But yeah, basically it's trying to do things kind of in a manner that is the least kind of effective of our kind of impact upon kind of this bit of land that we have guardianship over at the moment. So as part of us owning this land, we have approximately 9 acres, which is just over 3 hectares for those that work on that. These are the cabins we rent out. Again, there's no electricity in those. We provide an off-grid battery pack, and there's lanterns in there that people can light, that are kept safe within the lantern, so there's no fire risk. And again, we put rechargeable lights in there, and we put a power pack so people can charge their sort of necessary kind of items for when they're on vacation. So as you'll notice as you look around, or as I look around and you're looking, we've planted thousands of trees. So this land prior to us owning it was owned by what's called a crofter, which is basically a small farmer on Skye and in Scotland, and he had cows on this land. So this land was very barren and was basically just an empty field full of cattle feeders and very muddy fields from big Highland cattle stomping around. So since we've been here, this is our 11th year we've owned this land. This has grown. We've planted these trees, so there's been 3,000 trees planted, and probably in excess of 3,000 trees. A whole host of native trees which have been planted so that it fits in with the environment. So we've got approximately kind of 2 to 3 acres planted fully up with trees, and in that time we've seen a huge growth in biodiversity in terms of flora and fauna. So in terms of the flora, then lots of new plants, lots of new flowers, obviously trees, different types of trees, and they're now kind of settling their own kind of ecosystem underneath here. So as the trees grow, then the leaves drop in this time of year, autumn, and we get different growth. So we get fungi in there, we get kind of different wildflowers growing up, mosses, lichens, that kind of thing. You'll see some lichens and moss on the trees there. So that's the flora side. In terms of the fauna side of it, we have kind of a huge array of wild birds. So we have eagles, white-tailed eagles and golden eagles, which are quite rare on this part of the world. A huge array of different smaller birds, lots of insects, lots of kind of small furries, so mice, shrews, voles, we have foxes, we have hedgehogs, we have deer, which to us are a pain, but they're beautiful to look at. The deer predate on all the trees, so if they get in here, they will chew a tree like this and they'll kill it. So we try to keep the deer out, as pretty as they are. But yeah, that's basically how we how we manage it. And when we first opened, then being off grid and being sort of sustainable and being kind of environmentally friendly was very much a unique selling point, a USP. Now we look to that being, and we hope that that becomes the kind of the standard for places, that kind of they can everyone subscribes to this notion that kind of that we are one planet, we have kind of limited resources, and that everyone can do their bit. And their bit might be just kind of change their shampoo, change their body wash, change their kind of habits a little bit, so that they're having less impact on the planet. Down to recycling, which is a real basic thing that everyone can do. The products they buy, how they buy things. We're vegetarian, so we don't tell everyone they need to be vegetarian, but kind of but if people ask, then we tell them, and obviously that has a sort of an impact on the planet as well, in terms of the space needed for meat production. We have our own polytunnel here, which we grow our own vegetables, and again try to be as sustainable and off-grid and self-sustaining as possible. It's a challenge. Skye isn't the sunniest place in the world, isn't the warmest place in the world, so it's kind of just trying to get that sort of sense of people trying to do as much as they can do and having the least amount of impact. And it's simple stuff, you know, kind of it's not difficult stuff, but absolutely everything we have here on site has either been recycled, down to sort of kitchen sinks, shipping containers. The wood that we use is recycled. The roofs are recycled, they've come off old buildings. So really it's kind of, you know, the reality is that kind of doing that, I'll come back on camera for you, but doing that for our benefit, obviously because it's our business and this is how we want to live, but also the benefit of the planet. So it's about kind of gently educating so that people can choose to do something different in whatever scale that they can do that in. So, you know, everyone can make a difference, and it takes kind of a movement to change the way we do things. And what we find now is that people that come to us because we're off grid, because we don't have Wi-Fi, because we don't have electricity, and they leave feeling more refreshed. They've not got constant updates on their phones. They've been able to escape emails. They've been able to sit in nature and enjoy peace and quiet, birds tweeting, rather than their phones tweeting. So just a slightly different mindset. And it's kind of, from our perspective, from myself and my wife's perspective and our family's perspective, it's what the world needs right now, is kind of just some peace, some quiet, and time to reflect and time to kind of to focus on what's really important. And it's not lost on me the irony that I'm doing this on an iPhone and I'm sending this digitally across the world to you guys doing your studies, but it's a bit about reality. It's kind of like what the small changes you can make to affect big changes within the world. And I guess that's kind of the thing that we're trying to sort of to gently educate people without shoving down their throats, but just allowing them a time and space to think differently, and to think sort of perhaps what can they do differently that kind of might have an impact on their community or where they live. Anyway, I was going to do this for 5 minutes. It's now a 14-minute video, so apologies for that. But if you have any questions, we are on social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook as Skye Eekabel's Cabins, or you can ask Miss Brian, and I'm sure she can send me a message and ask any questions that you would like to ask. But good luck in your studies, and I hope you're enjoying the 36 degrees in the sunshine, and no doubt you're going to hit the beach later. Hitting the beach here hits differently because the water's a lot colder, but yeah, it's refreshing. Right, cheers guys.